So, fansided.com posted an article, Zachary Rotman, saying 3 Cincinnati Bengals who won't be back if ownership listens to Joe Burrow. And what they mean by that is if they listen to Joe Burrow and they re-sign Tee Higgins, these are the players that won't be back if Tee Higgins gets a contract. And I'm going to tell you right now, I disagree with almost everything that they say in this article. And I think they're completely incorrect. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So, number one, Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki would be too expensive to attain if the Bengals re-sign Tee Higgins. I disagree with that greatly. Listen, Mike Gesicki's already made it very vocal. He wants to be on the Bengals, okay? I think he realizes he's going to be 32 years old soon. The guy's not getting any younger. And yes, you could make the argument, well, maybe he'll go somewhere and get paid another $8 million. Potentially he might. But at some point, when you get to a certain age in the NFL and you know you only have a certain amount of years left, you start to worry about your legacy and the stats you put on paper. You want to leave a good legacy in the NFL. And you also want a chance of winning the Super Bowl. So then you start breaking down, okay, what teams can win the Super Bowl? Okay, the Ravens. They got Mark Andrews, they got Isaiah Likely, and they also got Charlie Kolar. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs. They got Travis Kelce, they love Noah Brown, and I believe they have somebody else there as well, a third guy. But the Chiefs also, I don't think that they would be going after him. The Vikings, they got TJ Hawkinson and a couple other guys behind him. The Lions, potentially, actually, the Lions are kind of on that fringe. But, and then, again, you go from Joe Burrow to Jared Goff. There's not many Joe Burrows in the NFL. There's only a couple, like caliber level, I mean. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. Lamar, you're not going there. Josh Allen, he has Dalton Kincaid and Dalton Knox. You're not going there. Patrick Mahomes, we already talked about. So you start to look at, okay, he's in the best situation with the best quarterback in the game. I think he will take a team-friendly deal to stay here. Maybe it's a 1-year deal, maybe it's a 2-year deal, who knows? But I don't think he's going to leave because, again, it's not like you're getting paid $60 million to go somewhere else. You're going to get the same 1 year, $3, $4, $5, $6 million deal. So you might as well stay somewhere where you have a chance to win a Super Bowl. You're going to play with the best quarterback of all time, and that's that. So that's I disagree with. Number two, the Bengals can cut Zack Moss regardless of the Tee Higgins situation. Yeah, the Zack Moss situation is interesting. I think on Saturday, Khalil Herbert will be our starting running back for this game. We're probably not going to have Chase Brown. Obviously, Chase Brown is RB1. But we've been looking for that RB2. Zack Moss, the thing that he's so good at is his pass blocking ability. And we have seen it throughout the year. He is amazing. Before injury, this guy was an absolute unit when it came to pass blocking. And the Bengals do not look at that in a little context. They look at that as very, very important because the reason why they love it so much, they don't have to worry about offensive alignment. They don't have to worry about potentially having to fire Frank Pollock. Because as long as they can get away with their running back, protecting the quarterback, then they can be like, look, guys, we're fine. Our offensive line is crap, but who cares? We don't have to change. Frank doesn't have to be fired. We're okay. They like to get away with things. And this lets them get away with things by having a running back who can pass block. Which, again, for better or worse, I very much dislike the way that they do this, where they try to kind of weasel the way out of fixing things. But Zack Moss gives you that ability to not have to worry, which again works out. And at the end of the day, for me, as long as you're protecting my quarterback, that's really all I care about. Zach isn't costing that much money. Okay, I don't think they're going to, realistically speaking, well, if we sign Tee Higgins, you're going to cut Zack Moss. I don't think we're going to. I think Khalil Herbert would have to show to us that he is the RB2 of the future for us to go ahead and cut Zack Moss. So I think Zack Moss stays. I think we do sign Khalil Herbert to another contract, but I think Zack Moss stays altogether. And number one, and I can't disagree with this any more than I'm already saying out loud, paying Trey Hendrickson becomes increasingly tougher if Tee Higgins resigns. I don't know why a lot of different sports websites, sports analysts, and I don't think people understand what the Trey Hendrickson situation was. Like, a lot of people were saying this, like, oh, well, Trey Hendrickson wants money. Trey Hendrickson wants money. Trey Hendrickson never asked for money. People really are just completely misunderstanding the Trey Hendrickson situation. The guy doesn't want more money. Trey Hendrickson signed a 2-year contract, okay? He's fine with how much he's getting paid. He doesn't care about that. Trey Hendrickson is older. He has injury concerns at times. He wanted more years on his contract. He didn't want more money. He wasn't saying, oh, I'm not getting paid enough. He wants more job security for the foreseeable future. Because what Trey doesn't want is to hit free agency in a year from now and, oh my God, look at me. I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I'm coming off of this injury or that injury, and I'm not gonna get that much money, and people might not sign me. Okay, that's what he is focused on. He's not focused on making the most money possible. He's not sitting here saying, I want to get paid more than any other pass rusher in the game, and that's how everyone's trying to frame this out to be. No, what he's saying is, I want to make sure that I know I'm on this team for the next 4 or 5 years. So I don't have to worry about free agency. That's what he's caring about. And he signed a 2-year deal and then realized I want a longer contract. Tee Higgins' situation has nothing to do with Trey. It doesn't. Because at the end of the day, all the Bengals have to do with Trey is give him longer job security. And the reason why they didn't is because the Bengals looked at it and said, we just signed you to a 2-year deal, Trey. And they were stubborn in their ways. And they didn't want to give him more years because they just signed him to a new deal. And according to the NFL rules, in that short period of time of them just signing him last offseason, they couldn't restructure his contract yet, according to the NFL rules. This has nothing to do with money. Yes, he's going to get paid more money with a longer contract, but that's going to be 2-3 years in the future. Okay, this has nothing to do with money right now. Trey's under contract for this season and next season. He just wants better job security to make sure he's not going to hit free agency at 34, 35 years old and not know what he's doing. He wants to make sure he's on a team for the future. That's why he threatened to retire. If he wanted more money, why would he threaten to retire? I know he at first said he wanted to be traded, but then he threatened to retire if he didn't get more years. A guy who just wants to get paid the most money isn't going to threaten to retire. They're going to sit out and not play and say, I want to be traded and I'm not going to play. He just wanted more years. And I think a lot of different sports websites, they always try to put this as Trey wants money. Doesn't want money. Anyway, sorry. Just kind of ticks me off sometimes. But anyway, paying Trey Hendrickson becomes increasingly tougher if Tee Higgins resigns. I don't think so. As I said, he just wants more years. So in the end, I think you could push money toward the future with Trey. You could give him a little bit less money up front and more money in the back end and try to backload a contract with him. And as long as you're going to give him job security and amount of years, you will be absolutely fine. I Trey is he's a great guy. He's a great player. He's a great guy for this organization. If you listen to him talk, he's amazing he said that I want to separate business from playing. When I'm not going to sit out. I'm not going to refuse to play because I want to, just because I want to get a new contract. That wouldn't be right to my players. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play, and I'm going to keep business on separate, right? A player like that, if you work with him and he says, "Hey, listen, I just want job security," I guarantee you he'll take less money up front and more money in the back end, which will help us out for long term. You can work out his contract as long as you work with him to get him signed for a longer deal. You 100% can. It just comes down to working with him. And the problem is the Bengals are very stubborn with how they go about business sometimes, which does not help. But again, like I said, Trey, he's a great guy. He's a great player. I'm sure there is 100% in my mind you can work something out with Trey to keep him on this team. I have 0.000% in my brain he wants to go anywhere else. He wants to retire a Bengal, but he wants more job security. So just give him that and he'll be absolutely fine. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, though. I'll see you guys in the next one.